Hi everybody, my name is Jim with Full Moon Adventure Club, and if you've ever wanted to get internet from your house to an outbuilding or a garage or a barn that's really far away from your house without burying a really long distance of Ethernet cable to get to that location, this might be something that you're very interested in. Today we're going to be checking out, installing, and reviewing the ULNA CPE801 Wi-Fi Bridge. This is a point-to-point system, so you have a transmitter and a receiver. You point them at each other up to 3 miles, and you're going to get perfect transmission of your internet without burying any wires. So why don't we check this guy out? First of all, this is going to be for outdoor mounted use, so it is waterproof. This can handle up to 1,000 megabits per second, and it has lots of different uses. We're going to be using it today for point-to-point, so we're just going to be transmitting our internet over a long distance to the receiver, and then in that building you can either plug a computer with an Ethernet port directly into it and boom, you have internet, or if you want Wi-Fi at that other location, you're going to get a separate router and plug that in, and then you're going to have Wi-Fi at the other location, run off the internet from your house. So without further ado, why don't we just jump into unboxing this thing, setting it up, and then we'll put it through a test, and I'll let you know what I think at the end of all that. All right, so opening up the box here, we're going to have our instruction manual right there. You're going to have the 2 units themselves that can be switched from either a transmitter to a receiver. They are both identical. And you have a little waterproof cover there. We're going to have 2 Ethernet cables as well, 2 mounting brackets with hardware, and then you're going to have 2 of your power supplies that do have a PoE and a LAN connection on both, and those are going to power up and feed internet to both of your transmitters and receivers. So that's about all that's in the box. Why don't we get right to setting this all up? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to plug in the power adapter here. You are going to make sure that you plug in the PoE side to your transmitter. And this is going to be for the number 1. This is going to be the transmitter or master. And we're going to plug that into the first Ethernet connector port right there for power. And it's also going to feed internet to it as well. So what we're going to do is take the provided Ethernet cables, and you may have to replace these to get some longer ones for your permanent installation, but we're just going to set these up real quick to make sure everything's functioning before we move outside for testing. So we're going to go ahead and plug this guy into the left Ethernet port there. We're going to see the power come on. It's also very important that you set your switches correctly. So in each one, there's a little switch above the digital display, and your master transmitter is going to be set to the A position, and on your receiver, it's going to be set to the B position. So make sure that you have those set correctly, and we can move on. Now we're going to go ahead and connect our Ethernet cable to any available Ethernet port on your router so that we get internet flowing into this guy. And you can either plug this into the second Ethernet port on the transmitter, or this is genius, you can plug it right into the Ethernet connection on your power adapter, and it's all going to go through power, internet, everything's going to go through one cable. So when you're doing faraway installations, this makes it so much easier. I absolutely love that. We have power, the LAN light is flashing, so we know that one's good to go and connected to the internet. Now we're going to plug in our second power supply and another Ethernet cable here, and we're going to hook up our second receiving dish. So we're going to go ahead and plug this guy into the left Ethernet port on this guy as well. And once we do that, you're going to see the power comes on, the power light. And we're also going to just for fun, we'll kind of point these at each other to see if we actually get these to connect while we're inside. And let's see if our signal jumps up there, and there we go. So these are connected. Now what we're going to do is move our transmitter outside and give this guy a test. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and disconnect our short Ethernet cable that's going to our transmitter. We're going to get rid of that short guy, and I've already run a Cat5 Ethernet cable through my wall. That's a very long cable. You can go up to 65 meters with these things, and we're going to go ahead and plug that guy in so that it runs through my wall and out to the deck. And now we're going to install our transmitter out there just for a good trial run. We're going to give this guy a test. I'm just going to use 1 screw just to hold it in place, and we're going to connect that long Ethernet cable on the left side and make sure that we power up and everything is working. It says we are connected to the internet, which is good. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and attach this. Very easy mount, by the way. Very easy to swivel around, get the right angle. Very easy to attach. And what we're going to try and do here, I'll show you how long that cable is. It goes way over there and into the wall. And so now I parked my truck on the other side of my yard. Way over here, you can see the receiver on the deck, or the transmitter. And over here is the receiver. And we're gonna line these up as best as you can. You can just do it line of sight, but that's way over there. And something I thought of was just using a little laser pointer to maybe help me out, make sure I have a clear line of sight, and to maybe get it in the approximate, you know, straight pointed at the receiving dish. And there you can see the little laser pointer, so that works for me. And now we're gonna plug this in, so we have power, and I connected the Ethernet cable directly to my laptop. If you wanted Wi-Fi over here, you would have to use another router that transmits Wi-Fi, but you can plug it directly into the laptop. You can see my Wi-Fi is turned off, but I am connected through the Ethernet port. And just to show it to you, I'll go ahead and disconnect my Ethernet port. You can see my Wi-Fi disappears, or my internet connection. Wi-Fi is still turned off. You plug it back in and boom, we are connected to the internet. And now let's give it a test run to see what kind of speeds we're getting. Now with my internet provider, I get 100 megabytes down and 100 megabytes upload. So we're gonna see how fast that really goes and how close we can get to that. Let's go ahead and see how quick this guy is. 7.69 milliseconds, and then boom, right up to 99 megabits per second. So that's just insanely good. That's an awesome benchmark test right there. We're getting every single bit of my internet speed all the way across the yard. Upload is 96. So that's amazing. That's a perfect test. Really, really good. I'm getting all of my internet speeds all the way across my entire yard here. And as you can see, as I zoom in, I mean, that's a long ways off. So if you have a garage or an outbuilding or anything else, supposedly you can go up to 3 miles with this thing as long as you have a clear line of sight, but that is all the way across my yard. Perfect test. Super happy with that. Well, there you go, guys. I was really, really impressed. If you're interested in one of these, there is a link in the description below to Amazon if you want to pick one of these guys up. The price point is actually very affordable. Now, I really liked the way this worked out. I tried to go a little bit further than my yard, but there was like some tree branches and a couple of obstructions. This has to be a clear line of sight in order for it to work properly. But if you have that, it works amazing. I was really, really impressed. And when I put my garage over there, now I don't have to have a separate internet bill to either have its own internet over at that building, and I don't have to bury a really long Ethernet cable all the way to that location either. So this is a really, really good solution for me to get internet over to my garage, which is a far distance away. So I think it worked out really well. One thing that I will say that I couldn't really figure out is the signal meter that's on both of these. You know, they have a little signal bar, 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. They stayed full pretty much the entire time, so I really don't see the point. I figured it would be something to help me zero it in, but mine just stayed full all the time. But basically just using a line of sight, and I even used that laser pointer, which I don't think is necessary. It worked amazingly right off the bat. I didn't have to adjust them. I just kind of lined it up and lined up the other one, and boom, I was off to the races. Plugged it right into my laptop, and it was really, really great. I also really appreciate the fact that on their little power adapters, they have their PoE, which is power over Ethernet port, and then your LAN, which is what you connect to your internet. The cool thing about having both of those on the plug is that you can provide power and the internet connection through one Cat5 cable, so you don't have to have 2 wires. One going to power, you know, the power of the unit, and then one providing the internet. It can all be done with that one Cat5 cable, which I thought was really, really cool. So you only have to run that one wire. But these are amazing. They worked really great. I left mine pretty much stock, but you can change channels. You have multiple configurations. You can actually use multiple transmitters, I believe, or receivers if you have different buildings or anything like that. So I think it can be used in unison. But for me, it was just the 2 units, point to point, very simple. Get the internet over there, and it worked great for that purpose. So link in the description down below if you're interested in one of those. I think that about wraps it up. If this video was helpful to you, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you actually get notified when I produce new content. That really helps me out. So I think that about does it for now. My name is Jim with Full Moon Adventure Club, and until the next video, guys, thanks so much for watching, and happy camping.